This is Trentino.
This is Joe from Coyote Kisses.
It's your boy DJ Craze.
This is Duke and D-Rez.
This is your boy DJ Earwax from Las Vegas.
Hey, this is DJ Shifty, and you're listening to the Monday Mashup
on WVCW Richmond.
This is the Monday Mashup. Now here's your host, David Spohr.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Monday Mashup here on WVCW 102.9 FM and WVCW.org. I have a good friend and homie. Actually, you guys have heard me play a lot of his music on the radio before. I would like to welcome Kastra to the radio show. Hey, Ray, how you doing, man?
How you doing?
Yo, I can't complain.
Man. Thanks for having me.
Dude, absolutely. I've been wanting to have you on for a while. You've been playing out your tracks on both radio and in the club for quite some time. So it's nice to be able to, get you on the show, hang out, we'll talk about some tunes.
Absolutely. Let's do that.
So I wanted to start things off with, what got you into, music and production and DJing, and like what formed you into you?
What formed me into me? Well, that's quite a complicated puzzle you're putting together. Let's see. I mean, I've always been into music. At one point in my life, I was probably into every style, every genre of music. I've probably gone through. Like when I was in high school, I was into like metal, and then I got into classic rock, and then I got into like psychedelic. And like if you were to look at pictures of me from like freshman year of college, I had like hair down to my waist, or not my waist, but it was pretty long. And then I was into like I was into old school hip hop. I was never really that big into recent stuff. And then I got into dance music and production probably around the junior year of college. It's probably around like 2009, 2010. I started getting into it. Not like seeing it as a career path, but just kind of messing around with it. I started kind of working on. I got a Cowboy Ableton, and I just started like making my own songs. And that was kind of the most appealing thing to me. Was I was messing around DJing on my laptop and messing around producing a little bit more than I was playing my guitar. So over there they were much further ahead of us than at the time. Like you wouldn't go to a club in America in 2010 to hear a lot of house music. I mean, unless you were in like clubs that like specialize in it, you just wouldn't go to a normal club and hear it. But if you were to go to a normal club in Australia when I was there, you would hear Dead Mouse, and you would hear like these songs that I was really getting into, Calvin Harris, stuff, like the early beginnings of fundamental stuff that I was really liked. And I just couldn't believe it. It was for the first time in my life, I actually liked going out to nightclub, and it was like unbelievable. So I started getting into it, and then I went back to my college, and I started getting into it more and more into production. And then it just kind of happened. I started getting better and better and better, and then I signed a song to a record label. I'm like, this is actually possible. And then over the course of like the last couple of years, it's been kind of like pushing through. And if I listen to my songs from back in 2010, it's like it's cringeworthy, but it's like it's cool to see how far you've come. And man, it's been a hell of a journey. I've started to play a lot more shows and worked with some pretty awesome people. We got some great releases on some labels that I've always wanted to release on. It's been fantastic.
Speaking of getting releases on labels, you mentioned something earlier to me about Ministry of Sound. Would you like to tell everyone a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Ministry of Sound was one of the, one of the fundamental, compilations that got me into dance music. The Annual and their Clubbers Guide are just awesome. Like they're my. If you're trying to show someone dances, you could probably start there, and because it's a compilation of all like the best music that came out from that year. And they do two. They do Clubbers Guide and they do the Annual. I think of the big two. They're kind of like 6 months in between. And back in 2010, the Annual was out, and that really inspired me to get into dance music. And now in 2015, I was on Clubbers Guide from Music Your Sound, and I think I was on the Annual as well. So it's pretty awesome. It kind of comes full circle, and that was definitely an accomplishment to see my name on there with some of the people that I idolize.
That's absolutely amazing, and it's really cool to see something that inspired you. You're now, a part of. That's an honor all in itself. And Ministry of Sound. I mean, that's the creme de la creme. So I tip my hat to you on that one, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now with DJing, a lot of people do things a little bit differently. How do you perform when you're DJing?
I make a lot of edits. I definitely release a lot of mashups and mashup packs for people. that I put out under my name, just because I like to, I take a lot of mashups and stuff from people, so I like to give back. So I have just like a Dropbox full of stuff that people can access, just mashups and edits and stuff that people can edit. But besides those, I have a bunch of personal edits that I use for DJing. So things that I've cut up in a very special way to make it fit in my set. You know what I mean? Like something that I wouldn't release because it's only like a minute and a half long. But a transitional tool or something. So I spend a lot of time doing things beforehand. You know what I mean? Like as a DJ, I think I've definitely come a long way. I was not a DJ first. I was a producer first and a musician first. So I kind of had to learn how to make my sets more interesting and how to stand out. And a lot of I've watched friends and they've done it. You kind of trade tips, and it's been cool, man. I play a lot of throwbacks. Just the stuff that kind of keeps the groove going. I've never been one who really likes stuff that it's like festival sets are like intro, break, drop, break, outro. You know what I mean? Like that never really did it for me. It's too it's too up and down, and the breaks are too long. And so I kind of keeping it like more as if a hip hop DJ would do it, like the beats going the whole time, and like you're switching songs a lot faster, a lot more. I'll probably play a lot more songs than like somebody like Armin van Buuren would play because he played for 6 minutes. You know what I mean? I play my songs for like a minute and a half. So you mix through them really quickly. And I think, modern day, today's age, people don't really have the attention span, especially if you're just optimistic. You got to be like, changing songs pretty quickly anyway.
Now, speaking of festivals that you just mentioned, what are some of the bigger festivals that you have coming up this year, or in general, what are some of the festivals you have coming up this festival season?
I've got a cool one. This weekend I'm doing one called Blizzard Fest in Kansas City, which funny enough, it's supposed to be, an outdoor festival based around the snow and stuff, but it looks like it's going to be like 65 degrees there. So I don't know what they're going to do as far as like snow. So I think it might be like a normal festival, and that one should be cool. I've got a great one coming up in San Diego in like a month. I actually played it like a similar one in around Halloween, and with like Stafford Brothers and Felix Cartel, and then this one coming up is the one they do. I think it's called Shamrock, I believe. So it's around the time of St. Patrick's Day, and it's huge, man. It's like they close down like an entire section of the city, and they have like 3 or 4 stages, and I was lucky enough to be on the main stage, so it's a great response. That people are really just looking to have a great time. It's awesome, man. That's the one I'm really looking forward to.
We actually have an event like that here in Richmond, Shamrock the Block, and it's like 3 stages,
and
cool. They close down a couple of streets.
It's like
and
a giant block party, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
it's
wild.
Man.
People start drinking at like 11, and then it ends at like 9. It's debauchery, at its finest.
This one, yes, I love that. This one goes a little bit later. I think it goes to like 11 or 12. At least the last one I played did. So, but it's great, man. There's thousands and thousands of people there. It's awesome. I was thrilled with the last night.
No, that's great, dude. That's great. Now, with your production, everyone produces also a little bit differently. Some guys prefer this DAW, some guys prefer analog gear. Some guys have walls of modular synthesizers. What's it like to be in the studio with you?
It's definitely. I mean, I am a bit of a gearhead, not to the extent of someone like Chromio or somebody, but like I definitely am. I'm a gearhead. I do like to run things through. I don't have analog outboard gear, but I have, there's some great emulations out there that, by companies like Slate and, even Waves has some cool stuff, and Universal Audio. There's some great, things that you can pass your signal through, like add like color and tonalities to it of original analog gear. And I'm definitely big on that. But besides that, I am all on the box, all on the computer. I mean, I have MIDI keyboard and stuff. But I just, when it comes to my style, I like to try, keep things like groovy and going forward. Like I said, I'm not huge on breaks. I mean, not any breaks in song structure, not breaks the style of music. Breaks the style of music I love. Yeah, I try to just make it, the way I approach a song is I basically just try to make it so I'll listen to it, and every time I think there's a weak point in the song, I just go back and work on it so I don't feel like it's weak anymore. And then once I feel like there's no more weak points, then I feel like you got this long.
What are some of your favorite pieces of actual hardware gear, or like what kind of sound card you use, monitors? Is there that one thing that's like, yeah, I gotta have that?
Well, I think more recently I actually didn't have it. I suppose you can consider analog. Well, not really, but I mean, I'm going to tell you about it anyway. For analog gear, I like to use, I don't have the mini Moog. There are thousands of dollars to get one these days. But you can, like I said, there's, emulations out there that sound great, and they still have a lot of the characteristics. So, like, the mini Moog, the Prophet, the CS50, like, a lot, even the, there's tons of stuff. The DX7 emulations out there are awesome. But the piece of gear that I actually recently got that I'm most excited about that did the biggest wonders for me was this thing called SonarWorks. And basically what it is it's two parts. Basically there's a microphone that you get, and you take measurements of your room, and then it corrects your room so that it's much more flat. So you stick that on your master bus when you're mixing, and it corrects your room basically. So it applies an EQ curve to your speakers so that you're hearing it more, flat. And it also adjusts the phase and stuff. And so that's amazing. And then there's also a different part of it that adjusts your headphones. So let's say you have, in my case, I have ME50 headphones. So you flip over to the headphone section of it, of SonarWorks, the program, and you select your headphones. They already have, the measurements for all the major headphone companies. And it corrects your headphones to be flat. And then the cool part about it is you can jump between different models. So they have a model for Beats headphones. So you have your headphones on, and then you can apply the EQ curve of Beats headphones so you can listen to your music and hear what it would sound like in Beats headphones. It's incredible. So it's just like being able to jump around all these different simulations, and it's just great to test your music on, because ask any producer, what you want to do is test your music on the most amount of systems. So being able to jump around it just by a click is it's incredible.
That's really cool. I need to get that. Send me a link to that when we're done with the interview.
Sure thing,
I need something like that. Now, when you said it also makes it more flat, does that also help out with reverberation?
Well, no, but there are, and the reverberations are, unless you treat your room, you're going to have reverberations, but there's certain things with the phase and other things that it compensates for. There's not just it's not just an EQ curve. There's phase and all this other kind of crazy stuff that goes into it's much more complicated than I don't even know about. So, but I'll just tell you, once you do the measurement and you stick it on, you're going to be like, wow. Like there's in my room, I noticed there's no 120 hertz. You know what I mean? That's like where the bump of the kick drum sit. So it's like trying to mix without that is kind of difficult. So it's really a phenomenal tool. They did great work with it. So if you're a producer working with an imperfect room, which to be honest most of us are, it's a great tool to kind of help you really see your mixes to what they are.
That's so interesting. I've never even heard of something like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now
it's amazing, man.
You've been any and everywhere. One, what is your favorite venue to play in the United States, or even maybe top 3 venues to play in the United States? And if you've ever played out of the country, favorite place there, and then craziest story from being on the road.
Okay, so let's tackle these one at a time. Well, I have not played out of the U.S. at this point, but
at this point, keyword.
Right, I'm going to be going to Canada soon, and my agent is talking about bringing me over to Australia because the music that I make is pretty popular over there. The thing about Australia is, their summer is not our summer. It's in reverse. Our winter is their summer, and their summer is our winter. So, when it's summer over there, all the big guys are home. And Australia is a very locally based DJ scene, it appears. Like, when Will Sparks and Joe Fletcher and all of them are home, there's no way they're going to bring somebody like me over there because they're, the guys are there. But when it's summertime over here and it's winter over here and all those guys come over here to do their rounds, it's much more easy for somebody like me who's not, as big as a Will Sparks to get over there and do the clubs, which is fine because in Australia it's like 60 degrees and it's the coldest it gets in the winter, you know what I mean? So I'm cool with that. And so yeah, that's like not country yet, but we'll be going soon. What was the other question? Oh, favorite venues. I like, it kind of depends because it's just cool. Big shows are cool because you can basically play anything. You know what I mean? I mean within reason. Big shows like the one I was talking about, the one in San Diego that I played in Halloween that I've been playing in a couple of weeks. It's a big crowd, so as long as if it's full, you can basically get away with a lot more than you couldn't really. I mean, obviously you have an hour, so you got to play a lot more stuff. Within. I'm sorry, I just got a phone call. Just got. I'm sorry, you have to edit that out. So obviously with a big crowd, you can, play a lot. Have to play a lot more within like an hour because it's all the time you have. So you have to kind of just fit as much stuff as you can into that hour. But if you play in like a smaller venue, you have longer, like 2 hours, sometimes even more. So for big shows, I mean, like I said, I love the one in San Diego. I'm looking forward to playing that again. For smaller shows, I liked the one in Baton Rouge. Is pretty cool. It's small and it's dark. I liked that. Slate in New York is cool. It's kind of the same vibe. Or Slate, I'm sorry, not Slate. Let's see. Some of the clubs in Miami are cool. The small clubs are different. As long as it's like it's intimate, I'm down with it. You know what I mean? And if the big one, as long as it's full, I'm down with it. You know what I mean? What was your third question? I'm sorry.
What?
Craziest
story from being on the road.
Okay, I'll try to keep it PG for you because this is a stage radio show. I mean, I'll maybe mention a couple. I remember like a few years ago, I was playing this festival in actually New Jersey, which is my home state, and it was on like a beach, but it was an all ages festival. I remember, and so there's some younger kids now. I don't think it's all ages anymore, but at the time it was all ages. So there's some younger kids there, and I remember playing and looking down in the crowd. And then this huge circle was kind of like developing, and they were developing around this kid who couldn't have been more than like 8 years old. And so here's like a bunch of like 18 to 20 and up year olds like gathering around this kid who's probably like 8 years old, and he's just like breaking it down to the dance floor, and everyone was just going nuts. So that was really, really cool to see that, and like they were throwing up on their shoulders and stuff. That was really, really wild. That was like something cool for me to see. Let's see. I spent some time with. I wasn't on tour. That kind of wraps into it. I spent some time with Tiesto in Atlantic City once. He played a lot of my music last year around this time. He's played a ton of my music, and he came to Atlantic City, which is like it's also New Jersey, and it's kind of like a mini Las Vegas, and so I hit him up and I was like, yo, man, do you mind if I come down just to like say thank you, say for supporting all my records recently? And he's like, yeah, come on down. So I brought my brother and my girlfriend with me. And so we go down, to see Tiesto. We walk in the green room, and in the green room, it's just me, my brother, my girlfriend, Lil Jon, and Tiesto. So it's just like the 5 of us hanging out there. So that was hysterical. We like, and I don't know if you'll ever see a crazier rider than Tiesto. He has these bottle of vodkas that are like, they're probably like 4 feet tall, and the cap on them is like a hockey puck. It's like that heavy, and he just gets like gets them like brought out and like constantly just shooting them all over, dumping them all over people's heads. So that was a good one. And then before we started the interview, we were talking about food. So maybe I can just share one of those stories. Is in Rochester, New York, they have this thing that I never recommend eating, but it was late and it was after a show one time, so they said you got to try this, and it's called a garbage plate. And basically, what a garbage plate is, you go to like one of like a certain amount of places that have them, like a diner or whatever, and it's basically just a bunch of stuff just like chopped up and put on a plate, but like everything from like hot dogs to like beans and French fries, and it's just like all just jammed on this plate, like covered with hot sauce. And I remember eating it, and then at like 6 a.m., like hours later, in my room, I remember just waking up and just been like in so much pain from eating that thing that I would never eat it again. So if I ever play back up there again, I'm definitely not eating a garbage plate. But
it sounds like the kind of thing you can only eat when you're drunk.
It is. It's definitely a drunk food. I mean, I can't imagine anybody ordering it when they're sober. You got to be out of your mind. But even drunk, it was just like, this is the most extreme food. It's just the most insane thing I've ever eaten. It was insane.
Dear Lord, dear Lord. I'm just cringing thinking about like all of that on a plate after like a lot of tequila.
It doesn't even look. Yeah, that's basically what it is, and it doesn't even look appetizing. But it's like, they're like, oh, it's a local thing. You got to eat it. You got to eat it. Traveling around, you want to try the local food and see what every place has to offer. So I tried it, and it wasn't bad tasting. It was definitely like good, but oh man, the pain that followed was not worth it.
I feel like the local food you'll get in like North Carolina, Alabama, Texas, any of the barbecue places is going to be a lot better than Jersey.
I had it. This was in Rochester. Jersey actually has phenomenal food because it's like that was in Rochester, the garbage place thing. But New Jersey has phenomenal food because it's right by New York and like it's very, very locally. I mean, I live on like the beach and very, very locally driven. There's not there's chains, but it's much more like restaurants and stuff. And but for barbecue, man, like I was telling you like earlier that I was in Austin, and man, the barbecue there, those food trucks is just unbelievable.
I love food trucks. I can't say anything about it. I absolutely love food trucks. Now you've got some new music coming out. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. I've got a record coming. I've got a bunch of stuff in the works. My newest one, which should be coming out very, very soon, within this week or next week, is a collaboration with my buddy from Australia named Apex. And I met him last summer when Tommy Sunshine did this thing called the Patch House. You familiar with the Patch House? You ever heard of that?
I can't say I am.
Okay, well, this is the strangest thing, but so the Sour Patch Kids, the candy, have a house in Brooklyn, and it's huge. It's like a 4-story house, and it sleeps 11. There's like 9 beds or something, and basically, if you're an artist, any kind of artist, band, DJ, whatever, you can go there and stay for free as long as you tag them on Instagram and take pictures of what you're doing and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. It's insane. And it's really, really nice. And so I spent some time I was staying there one time, and Tommy Sunshine came over, and he walked in, he just had this like epiphany. He's like, going to bring his label there. So, 4 months later, he brought his whole entire, like a bunch of people from his label there, me being one of them, and another one being Mitch from Apex, who was from Australia. So Mitch came from Australia to do this project. We were there all week. And so me and Mitch really bonded, and we had a lot in common musically. And we started the song after the Patch House, after meeting, kind of, developing a relationship. We started the song, which is a remake of this 90s dance song called The Drill. And I had never heard the song before, but he said in Australia, people love it. It goes off every time you play it. So we spent like a month trying to recreate it the best we could, and we're just gonna put it out for free because to get it cleared, by the licensing and stuff like that would be really, really difficult. So we're just gonna put that one out for free. But I've got a bunch of label releases in the works. I've got another one with Hustle that we're working out right now. Hustle is on the Ministry of Sound. They do. It's a lot of, bounce stuff. I think they're actually been a very, very successful label for the last, 2 years. And, a lot of people like Joel Fletcher and those kind of guys released through them. And then I've got another one with Tommy and Brooklyn Fire that we're wrapping up right now. That one's pretty cool. It's definitely different music. The musical environment has changed over the last year. So I've been making kind of stuff that's a little bit different. Stuff that I'm still proud of, but definitely different music, And then I've got another one from a guy in Massachusetts. He runs a label called Peak Hour, which has been doing pretty well recently. And I had a collab with him a little while ago. His name's Exodus, and we did a remix for Jason Risk and Vandalism on Issues. And he runs a label called Peak Hour Music Service on one of mine. So a lot of stuff in the works, man. Still pumping out like the mashups and stuff, but it's been good. It's been good. I've been busy.
Hey, man, when stuff comes out, you got to let me know so I can get that stuff on air.
Sure, man. Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll put you on my promo list.
Yeah, dude, get me that and get me some stuff to play in the clubs. No, man, I've been playing your stuff out for forever. Yeah, I'm actually doing a DMC style routine with your remix of Apache by Sugar Hill Gang.
That's rad, man. I actually one other thing I forgot to mention is I have a collab with Timmy Trumpet that I'm trying to work out. Like Timmy was in America last summer, and we got together and got in the studio, and we worked out like a whole song And then once he left, we were talking back and forth about it. We just realized that it sounded way too much like Booty Bounce by Tujamo. So we're like, oh God, all right. So we had to start over. So now we're trying to get that together. So hopefully someday that'll collaboration will see the light of day, because he's an incredible talent, and doing a track with him would be just amazing.
Hey man, I'm looking forward to it. All right, Kastra, it has been a pleasure. It has been an honor. It's been a lot of fun. We gotta have you back on, and we gotta get you down to Richmond sometime for a show. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that off air. Anyway, you could do a station identification for us.
Hey, this is Kastra, and you're listening to the Monday Mashup on WVCW.